Bienvenidos, worldwide fans of the planet's hottest entertainment with an edge. Jaime En Fuego here, bringing back Enfuegotainment with a Rapido Fuego review here on my namesake channel. And this is about a brand new series that is FX by way of Hulu, and it's entitled A Teacher. Yes, and this stars Kate Mara as a lady in Texas who is moving from her grade school prior teaching to a high school where she is the AP senior English teacher, at least for one particular class, and she gets herself involved with a 17-year-old senior by the name of Eric. And the first 3 episodes just debuted today on Hulu, and I guess they're going to be weekly every Tuesday from here on going forward. And I gotta say, initially based on the trailer, I was really just kind of haphazard as to if I really wanted to watch this. Not so much my bag, but I really like Kate Mara, and I saw some reviews, most notably from a journalist from Variety, who was saying, you need to watch this, it is brutal as far as where it goes with this story. And you have to figure, I mean, if you have a older teacher, and Mara looks like, she's like mid-30s-ish, maybe a little bit younger, but somewhere in that range, and but yet she's like a short, petite, little, she could probably pass for, someone in their, mid to earlier 20s. And so for that reason, like when she is out and about with this senior who is, tall and, like I guess handsome-ish for his age or whatever, she takes him to tour the UT campus in Austin, which is where this takes place, in the Austin area and stuff. And it starts out rather innocently, with him getting all stoned with his buddies after she has just started at the school, and she comes into the diner where he works, and him and his friends are like, oh, she's hot, let's go talk to her. And so they do, and his 2 friends have to abruptly leave, and so he's sitting there with her, and the connection initially starts with him saying, well, you went to UT, that's awesome, I'm having trouble with the SATs. And then he implores her to tutor him, and she hesitantly, but yet she's kind of intrigued by this kid for whatever reason. And obviously this is very touchy material, man. And I know that there was like the joke, like what, 15 or so years ago, when all of those women were getting in trouble for dating their high school students, and there was a South Park episode where they're like, oh, well, if it's males with underage female students, they were talking, lock them away and toss that key. Who knows when I mean, it is disgusting, despicable, which it very obviously is. But how it's more like a little slap on the wrist when this happens with female teachers with underage boys. And so that's where this is very murky waters for a show like this to be navigating, especially since, at least in these first 3 episodes, despite the forbiddenness of it, they're not really going super graphic, and the hookup doesn't even happen until the end of the 3rd episode. But she's married, she's trying to have a kid with her husband, but even after that initial interaction at the diner, she gives Eric a ride home, and then that night she is like dreaming about this kid. So there is kind of a sexual attraction pretty much right off the bat with her and this kid. And I don't know, it's a little, it seems to me like it's a period piece in a lot of ways. Like maybe it's like a late 2000s, sort of thing, based on the hip hop music that they're selecting, whether it's 50 Cent or that just all kinds of other stuff like that. So I'm not 100%, but I do kind of get the vibe that it is in fact a period piece, but I could be completely wrong. And by period piece I mean like 12 years old, 10, 15 years old, something like that. But I could be totally off base in that regard. So yeah, the acting is solid, Mara is good, but I feel like they're already positioning, like, just feuding with her husband just to make you more sympathetic to her infidelities for whatever reason. Her husband doesn't seem like a bad dude at all in the first 3 episodes. He obviously travels for work and stuff, and that's how she ends up in this position to even be in the diner to talk to this kid and his friends, and then in turn give him a ride home, and sow those initial seeds of what takes some time to come into fruition. But yeah, I mean, he seems loving and supportive and stuff. She gets mad in, I think, the 3rd episode when he buys a bunch of music equipment, because he wants to start a band without consulting her. But aside from that, I mean, yeah, there's like, he seems like a fine dude, you know, nothing, no like glaring horrible aspects to him. And also, like, with Kate's character, they don't even really make her seem like this, like, frail, damaged, whatever. I mean, stuff moves along very quickly, and I forget the name of the writer director, Hannah, God, Hannah something, it's eluding me. I know somebody else scripted it, but this is based on a film that she did, and it's been expanded into a 10-episode series and stuff. But that's the weirdest thing, is that none of these characters really seem like particularly, like, damaged, messed up people. It just shows how very innocently things can get out of hand in these sort of situations, and I'm intrigued to see where it goes. I kind of have some feelings about where it's going to go. Like, if I'm going to make some predictions, and these are not spoilers since I've only watched the first 3 episodes of this show, and they're very short, they're like 20-something minutes, and so, I mean, a 10-episode show will probably be around the 4-hour mark, you know, so, I mean, moderate expansion, I would imagine, from Hannah's film. I don't know if it was a feature or a short that this was based on and it's been expanded upon, but nonetheless, yeah, nothing as far as like massive dedication goes. I really wish that I could have binged the entire 10-episode series in one sitting, but with them dropping all 3, at only 20-something minutes, they had to at least drop a few at a time initially here just to pique our interest, because not a lot really happens. It's just really the groundwork for this this flirtation and this just growing attraction that's really happening. But predictions, I think this kid is gonna get her prego, and it's gonna just veer into some really nasty territory. And I do think she is eventually going to like, people are gonna get involved. It's like the secret is going to come out, whether it's you know, because Eric's friends are already kind of picking up on it, like when he goes with Kate Mara's character onto the UT campus, one of his buddy's older brother, who's a student there, happens to see him with his teacher, and his teacher's just like, oh, I'm Claire, blah, blah, blah. You know, she's like, you don't have to call me by, you know, my teacher name and stuff. And so I can imagine this being kind of trigger worthy for some, and it's not necessarily my cup of tea, but it's well acted, it's well made, and there's just a very, I guess, cruel curiosity on my part to see where this actually goes. So I'm going to continue watching these every week, and then in late December, when the show finally wraps up, similar to what I did recently with Soulmates on AMC, I will do a full spoiler season kind of retrospective discussion. But yeah, this is only the tip of the iceberg, the tip of where I think this story could really go, and just how emotionally brutal it could be. And so yeah, I'm intrigued. So that's my thoughts on A Teacher, which is now on Hulu via FX. I'm not sure if it's also available on, like, I think FX has one of those AMC-esque like streaming on demand sort of things where you can watch stuff commercial free and blah blah blah. But if you're a Hulu subscriber, first 3 episodes are there, and yeah, I'd say it's a 3 out of 5, at least thus far. It is a bueno show. So, I have been Jaime En Fuego. You can find me on all social media sectors like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, here on the YouTubes, where a like, a share, and a subscribe means a hell of a lot. I also recently did reviews of Antebellum, the first season of Soulmates, as I just mentioned, as well as On the Rocks, which is a new Sofia Coppola film, and Borat, subsequent movie film. So, check those out if you like. If you're more into the spectacular stuff and you're not aware, the larger channel that I'm affiliated with is The Horror Show, just like you see below, youtube.com/The Horror Show channel, where we do daily reviews of television, movies, comics, novels. I have a weekly Stephen King show called Hail to Stephen King. They also do video game Let's Plays, unboxings, pretty much everything under the scarific sun. So check that out if you are inclined there and were unaware. And yeah, that's going to be it for today, everybody. So until the Reel of Ka comes around once more, hasta luego, Cinemigos, constant viewers and readers alike, say thank you for a bit of your time today, but I'm hopeful we share more of this palaver sooner rather than later, and until then, yeah, stay home and watch more of that streaming.